Now, from the waste of olive oil, we move on to harvesting the power of the sun. Israel's energy tech sector is betting on a coating that uses the sun's energy to cool surfaces instead of heating them. SolCold says its light-activated material could slash the need for traditional air conditioning, a potential game-changing solution for cities getting hotter every year. So for more, I'm now joined by Yaron Shenhav, CEO and co-founder of SolCold. So Yaron, thank you very much for being with us today. How exactly does your material work?
Well, the material itself is like a film, okay, like a big sticker, like a wallpaper, something very, very thin, and it can be very, very wide. And it uses three mechanisms, all coming from physics, inside the material, inside the sticker. The three mechanisms are one, reflective, so just like pretty much like you can imagine a white paint, right? Mm-hmm. We try to lower the amount of energy that is heating up the material. But inside of our coating materials, it's made of layers. Inside of it, you have nanoparticles that are actually using the sunlight in a process called anti-Stokes fluorescence or upconversion. That means that they are absorbing the photons coming from the sunlight, and in the process of jumping on energy level and then crashing back in a matter of nanoseconds to a lower position, they are emitting higher energy photon, or in other words, they are always pumping out the energy, the heat from within and emitting that as light that we can actually see. In the process of it, the material is actually generating an active cooling power. So you can actually measure it, something between 90 to 170 watt per square meter. Temperature-wise, it is dropping down temperature below the temperature of its surrounding, the temperature of the air, by approximately on the peak hours of the day, at noontime and summertime, by 5 to 6 degrees subambient.
Okay, so how you say 5 to 6 degrees? What are the most warm cities in the world, and in Israel maybe? And how do you think, how much energy does this realistically save, like on a year basis or a month basis?
Well, in terms of energy saving, I mean, we have several projects already deployed and measured globally. So in hot places, in very hot places and slightly hot places. And we see that pretty much the same thing, always between 30% reduction in power consumption, 30% all the way to 60%. That's what we see. Now, in terms of where are these kind of solution is adequate to, well, of course, we are only targeting the sun belt of the world. And unfortunately, I would say, global warming or extreme heat waves that occur often, more and more often, are pretty much my friend. Mm-hmm. So because of them, we see a lot of demands. Every summer, we see that even cold areas like for France, for example, or in the middle of Europe, they approach us and then, listen, we really, really need this kind of solution. What can we do? Mm-hmm. And then business are booming in summertime.
But how does it measure then with, for instance, solar panels? Because they harvest the power of the sun to gain energy. You're basically doing something different because you're using it to cool down. Yeah. How does it relate to each other?
Oh, it's a long story, mm-hmm. I would say. Well, solar panels are indeed taking the solar energy and generate electricity out of it, and we're taking the solar energy and generate cooling out of it. Now, if your aim is actually to cool down the object, then it is much better way to do that with SolCold. Instead of taking a solar panel, converting it to electricity, and from that converting it into power for air conditioning. In that process, you're saving much more energy, way much more energy with us. I would say, though, that we have, for example, project now that is coming on in Brazil on a solar panel field. That in this specific project, we're actually using the immense amount of photons that we are emitting from our material to actually generate more electricity in this solar farm. So cooling down the material also, but also because of all the light being absorbed again in the solar panels, they are generating 21% more electricity than without us.
Wow, very interesting. Okay, so cooling down, but gaining energy at the same time.
So we can do both.
Amazing. Yaron Shenhav, CEO and co-founder of SolCold, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.